I got two things again.
Oh. Alright. Let's show us what's in the box. Top secret.
First one is for Grizz.
Oh.
What?
Hang on, what do we got?
Keep going, man. You're doing good. Yes! Dude, you punched the fuck out of that, man.
Holy fucking shit!
So good. Yo, Captain Pearl.
I didn't know what was going on there.
Man. Fucking got him.
Fucking got him, dude.
Holy shit. Dude, good game. Fucking good game. Are you ready? I knew it!
Cap, look at my fish.
Oh, wow.
My little bite. Ready? Bitch.
Always steal those kisses from you. Always have to steal those kisses from you. Always have to steal those kisses from you. Always have to steal my kisses from you. Oh. Alright. Let's show us what's in the box. Top secret.
First one is for Grizz.
Oh.
What?
Hang on, what do we got?
Keep going, man. You're doing good. Yes! Dude, you punched the fuck out of that, man.
Holy fucking shit!
So good. Yo, Captain Pearl.
I didn't know what was going on there.
Man. Fucking got him.
Fucking got him, dude.
Holy shit. Dude, good game. Fucking good game. Are you ready? I knew it!
Cap, look at my fish.
Oh, wow.
My little bite. Ready? Bitch.
Always have to steal those kisses from you. Always have to steal those kisses from you. Always have to steal those kisses from you. Always have to steal my kisses from you.
I got two things again.
Oh. Alright. Let's show us what's in the box. Top secret.
First one is for Grizz.
Oh.
What?
Hang on, what do we got?
Keep going, man. You're doing good. Yes! Dude, you punched the fuck out of that, man.
Holy fucking shit!
So good. Yo, Captain Pearl.
I didn't know what was going on there.
Man. Fucking got him.
Fucking got him, dude.
Holy shit. Dude, good game. Fucking good game. Are you ready? I knew it!
Cap, look at my fish.
Oh, wow.
My little bite. Ready? Bitch.
Always have to steal those kisses from you. Always have to steal those
Jump on in, baby. Fuck, I need to make a new starting soon thing. Hello?
Yeah. Oh, we can get you some of the
Hello?
clips from the weekend.
Hi. Yes, I'd be good,
The
wouldn't it?
weekend.
Or we want.
Does he watch the show?
Yeah, they do.
Fendi,
Wow, that's
Sukai,
incredible. Yeah, g'day, legends.
Oh,
How's it going? Oh, Llama.
Llama.
G'day, mate.
G'day, Llama.
dividable.
What's going on?
How
You
doing,
making a new
folks?
D4 character, Grizz?
No, I have not actually, Fendi. I have not played any
Ooh.
D4. I did
No
start
D4.
Baldur'S Gate, but I'm going to be talking about that a bit later.
Can't but just say your Crunchyroll.
Yeah, keep that to yourself.
Did we do sound check, Pat? We all good? I think we're all right.
Look, I haven't changed any settings from last week, so if last week is fine, it's fine today.
Yeah.
Cool.
Turn my fan off.
I will remember.
old?
to,
G'day, Mobile. How are you,
Mobile!
mate?
Ols, how you doing, Ols? Love you, buddy.
All right.
Legend.
MVP.
Couple of champignons.
Champignon.
Yeah, right.
Actually
Very
popped into
fucking
this Desane stream earlier before this
Did
as
ya?
I was sitting down.
Oh,
yeah.
Desane.
You know what, man? It is
Oh,
cool
man.
fucking catching up with people that you haven't
Yeah.
seen
It
for
is.
ages.
It
Yeah,
is.
love it.
Desane and Sukai in chat, they did their first community panel at Pixel.
Oh, the mod thing. I saw photos of that. It looked
they
like
did,
it went.
they did the
banging.
mod thing as well as networking, and
Yeah.
I tuned
rad.
into one of them. I can't remember. I tuned into the moderator one, and it was very good.
I heard
very-
it was very good.
I'm not
Desane was
surprised.
talking about it in his
Those guys are
stream.
I
legends.
was really impressed. I fucking love those guys. Okay. I don't wanna cry again. I'll
Let's do it.
Shall we get
G'day, Alpha.
stuck in?
Oh, g'day,
Hey, mate.
Elephant.
Ooh.
Let's
Yeah,
do
let's
it.
do it.
Get ready, counting down. In 3, 2, 1.
Erish.
G'day and welcome to Oceanic Gaming Radio. That's OGR, baby. Episode 67. It is the 7th of the 8th, 2023. Wow. What a wonderful time to be alive, hey, fellas.
Absolutely, Capo.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
In the dream.
And cherry on the top. Cherry on top, you know, we're back. We're back from Pixel Expo Perth 2023, Western Australia, and it was a banger, wasn't it?
We're back from having a big one, aren't we?
Oh,
pal?
Yeah.
y'all had a big one.
Yeah. Well, I don't think mine was as big as yours and Pav's, but
I probably had the biggest one of my life.
yeah, I think
This
you
is-
most certainly did.
This is
How many
what's-
hours sleep you reckon across the weekend, Pav?
Look, I definitely only had maybe close to 3.5. That was pushing it on Saturday night or Sunday morning. But yeah, I slept all right last night. But yeah, it was it was
Slept
not
like a little baby, baby Pav.
I feel like I blinked and I was up again. It was
Far out.
instant.
So,
Love
Pav, tell us what is Pixel Expo and what happened there, and what did you
All
do, mate?
Yeah, give us
What
the
happened?
rundown.
Whoo! I should be better at this. Being so.
Well, you're tired, mate. You've got an excuse.
Yeah, this is true. All right, I'll start by saying I've been on the subcommittee for Pixel Expo for the last year, or actually last 2 years. This year I was I joined the team as their hosting coordinator, so I've been in charge of just kind of a lot of being the face of the event at like theater stage shows, the quiz nights.
You definitely
just
had that
representing.
persona, Pav. I
Yeah.
must admit. Yeah,
Oh, you were
walking
there?
around with you, like it's kind of like, wow, I'm walking around with royalty here. As Pav in his pineapple suit.
Wow.
Literally every person he walks by is like, oh, hey, Pav. Oh, hey, Pav, I need you to do this. Oh, Pav. And it's like everyone's got something to say to Pav as you're walking around with Pav.
Mr. Frickin' Important.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel the power when I put the pineapples on. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so good. I love that.
It's pretty cool. It's really just like a accumulation, like of
Accumulation, yeah.
of all the kind of events I've done in the last year and a half, like 2 years. It's kind of all come to this moment where it's kind of just exploded, and it's like I'm seeing the.
So is
effects
this your
of-
most prestigious resume item, Pav, in terms of
like
this?
I would think so. This was the biggest stage presented the cosplay comp, which is usually the most prestigious event of any con. And this is the biggest stage, the biggest competition probably this year that I've seen.
Wow.
Yeah, I think so. And I'm like just having the opportunity to host anything on that stage, let alone something that's so impactful and so like adored by such a huge community that means a lot to me as well. It's
the podcasting community. I mean, sorry, not the podcasting. The cosplay community is huge, like
massive. Oh, that really surprised me, Pav. Like the amount of people you saw that had put in serious effort into their cosplays was nuts.
Do you think
unreal.
Ted was the youngest cosplayer?
You know what? Probably the youngest that I saw.
You should have applied him into the competition.
Good. You know, if registrations for competitions closed a month ago, but if you were there on the Saturday,
I had no idea.
You were there on the Saturday. Ted would have stole the hearts of that crowd. I can assure you.
Oh, mate, it was hilarious walking. So, for those listening at home, we dressed Ted up in a Link costume that we had floating around, and it was just a fairly bare bones like t-shirt, with acrylic kind of on top and a little hat, and we just we're pushing him around the expo, and people were going goo-goo over it. It was hilarious. So funny.
What's the blue shield, Cap? What's it called?
The Hyrule Shield or Hylian Shield.
That was kind of like imprinted on his back, which I thought was a nice little touch there.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Very cool.
Very cool. Yeah, sorry to interrupt you though, Pavo.
Ted was so adorable. Like that cute little smile. Look, he had luck was on him. No, not luck. He had the good genes behind him.
I just wanted to say something. I just wanted to say something though, Pav, because we've known each other for quite a while now. Especially as like content creators. But you've come like such a long way in terms of like how you hold yourself in front of crowds.
Oh yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Seeing you up there on the big stage in front of, I don't know how many people were in that cosplay thing, but there's probably like a good. How many you reckon? A few hundred in there?
Yeah.
Kind of seated?
I reckon there's a couple hundred seated.
You just like captured the audience so well, mate. So just well done, Pav. It was very impressive.
Well, you were watching the cosplay. Did you were you able to stick around for much?
I stuck around for about the first bit, saw a few, and then I just ducked out, shot out. Yeah. Very impressive.
Oh, thank you. That means I was really stressed about it. As I said, it's like biggest event that I've really ever done and that I've been involved with. Have like put so much of my year into Pixel. And having it be such a raging success on all marks of all margins. I don't even know what.
So were they pretty happy with the attendance, Pav? They get a good attendance?
I believe we hit over 5,000 tickets.
Great. And is that like in comparison to other years? Is that?
I'm not really sure. Other years, this is the second year it's running. Last year we sold out. I think Saturday tickets completely sold out. Can't remember. It completely overtook anyone's expectations.
Dang.
Oh yeah, dude. Cool. That's so good. Yeah, it was a brilliant event. Like just walking through the different stalls and stuff. I went past the stall, and as I was walking past, the guy was like, "Everything in the stall half price," and then it was just like a tsunami, a tsunami around me, of which I got carried into, and then accidentally bought a Jujutsu Kaisen statue, and took the swell back out to my wife and baby. But
did you buy something in there, Capo? Did you? You bought a little.
Excellent.
I bought a figurine, and Mia bought some cool jewelry that she found, and we patronaged the event, which was great. So it was good fun. I mean,
I want to bring my kids next time, Cap. I think they would really enjoy it.
I think they would have loved it.
Yeah, I was thinking. I was like, oh man, like when we went in there, I was like, oh man. Grizz really should have brought the girls for sure.
I should have, because they had just explain it to people, but they had all these little shop fronts that were like handmade craftables, and people that were like drawing art and painting stuff.
Yeah.
And,
you are
how many stores were there?
You're referring to what they are commonly called as the Artist Alley at conventions.
The Artist Alley. There you go. See, I'm a bit of a convention noob, Pav. So they would have absolutely frothed on it, mate. And I did
Yeah.
too. I nearly bought some dice sets, but I've already got like fucking heaps of dice sets. So I didn't need them. But there were some cool ones there.
I think we had about 100 artists. I can't remember the exact number, but I think it's around 100. And I think every single one of them are local artists, just displaying their crafts.
So cool.
A few of them, it's their full-time job. They do conventions.
Dang.
And have
cool.
A lot of them have people like adore what they produce and follow them through their conventions.
We should talk.
I love it.
We should talk about what OGR did there, boys.
Before I do, I've got a little bit of show tell. A little exciting stuff for Twitch. I was supposed to while we're talking about the championships, cosplay championships, because I've actually got a new scene for you because I have something to show you. The cosplay championship not usually is a big prize pack and sometimes a certificate, maybe even a trophy sometimes. But do you know what the Pixel Expo championship prize is?
What?
It is a championship belt.
Holy shit.
Why do you have
it? So this is awarded at the ceremony, and they get to get a awesome picture. We're actually going to be engraving with all of every year's winner on the back of it. It will be it's a historical pixel item. So this is currently held by I believe Helly. I'm not too sure of their
that is really cool.
Their artist handle, but Helly was a Zelda cosplayer.
Oh,
and won the championship.
As in a Princess Zelda, or
Princess Zelda from the most recent Tears of the Kingdom, and was in kind of, I believe they were in like half transformation.
That's cool. Okay.
If I'm remembering the right one. But yeah,
pretty good cosplay though, Pav. Was it pretty good?
Outstanding.
Yeah,
outstanding, incredible. But yeah, very cool. I really wanted to show you guys.
That's so sick. Cool. That is really rad. You know who would be really frothing on that would be Dano.
Dano.
He would love it. Absolutely.
Dano's a friend of ours that loves wrestling stuff and also loves wrestling belts and has many of his own. But yeah, we definitely should talk about the fact that we participated in a panel as well, which was called Clash of the Casts, and it was hosted by Straight Jacket Jim, our good mate, who's featured on this podcast a few times. And it was basically a bit of a head-to-head podcast battle between ourselves and the morning show, which features Wraith WA, and I believe the other bloke's name is Dan. I can't remember what his handles
is.
Steel. Okay, there you go. Yeah. Nice. And they run a similar kind of podcast. They kind of go into a lot of other pop culture stuff, though. But they do a lot of big gaming and whatnot. So anyways, it was basically a big panel, kind of in the theme of Spics and Specs, if you're kind of aware of what that would look like. But it's kind of like a game show thing where we're being asked trivia questions about video games. And it was a wicked fun. Had a lot of fun doing it.
We're on the main stage as well, so we're in quite a big auditorium. And we're on the same stage where I watched Tenacious D play. So it was I kind of had this little bit of a, this is fucking crazy. Now, you know what? The room wasn't packed, but we had a few people in there. Cap, it was
the room
good
wasn't
fun.
Packed, but I'll tell you what, we saw Airy J, and mate, you're a legend. Bloody appreciate you coming down. So that was awesome.
He got us out of the shit, didn't he? I wonder if we would have won without Aries in the chat answering that question for us.
I think that last so it was broken into 4 categories. The first one was kind of just general. It was wiki related things. So Jim would read out a wiki statement about a game, and we have to guess what the game was. And then the next one was to do with Metacritic reviews, and you had to try and guess which game the Metacritic review was for, and it was user reviews as well, so like, you know, the pretty freaking obscure, annoying ones. And then he had some headline one, true or false headline things. It was stuff like, you know, police officer fired for not attending robbery and instead playing Pokemon Go, things like that. You had to choose whether that was true or false, which was true, by the way. And
all of the answers were true for the whole true or false round, Jim. So we just called it a true round, mate, not a true or false round, all right?
True round. And then, which actually completely screwed us up, because we kind of committed to just choosing false every time, because we had no idea. We thought surely one of these is going to be false. We've committed this far, and literally none were false. So that sucked. But we got there in the end. So, and then the final one was a quote round where Jim would go. The structure was he had 5 quotes for 5 different video games, and he'd read out the first quote, and if you got the game then on that first quote he read out, you get 5 points, and then if you went to the next one, you get 4 points, and so on and so forth. But if you'd stop at that quote if someone got the game, basically. And I think so. There was a few different games in there, but the final one was what do you call it?
Oh yeah, what was that?
It was BioShock.
It was BioShock.
It was the quote about a utopia, blah, 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 blah. I can't remember the exact quote, but I knew it was definitely BioShock. And so we got 5 points for that, which would have blown us out of the water. So, there was a lot of points in that round to be had.
There was a lot of points in that round. Yeah. Yeah. But we ended up walking away with the trophy. Pav, have you got the trophy there somewhere?
Pav, is it Pav? He's
there you go. There is some photos on my Twitter of us and our time there. So if anyone wants to check it out, it was awesome.
At Grizzly Gaming 86. Is that right?
Is that Ted in the bath again, Cap?
I think it might be. I think it's definitely Ted in the bath. So sorry, I'm going to hear some clacking around as he's smashing his ships against the wall between me and the laundry. So can't do anything about it. Sorry, but yeah. So there you go. It was really really fun event, and Airy J was there, and we had lifelines, and so we got Airy J on board for a lifeline. Which was now what did you answer, Airy J? I can't remember exactly what you answered. We had a lifeline for the Tom Nook answer, which was not Airy J. And
it was an NPC for something, wasn't it? Pretty sure.
Yeah,
can't remember.
It was was it the wood cutting person? Something to do with a woodcutter? I can't quite remember exactly what it was. And I think that marks how much I knew about that particular question. Yeah. I think it kind of just threw me off entirely. But it was cool because there was a lot of, we were able to get the audience participating and stuff, and we definitely had our bacon saved a couple of times by
we did, mate.
By the wonderful audience. So yeah, overall it was a great event, and we had a ball, and Pixel Expo I think went really well. So if you're hopefully we can do something similar next year, or in cons to come, and
what do you reckon about doing a live recording of an episode?
Actually, that could be really good fun. Yeah,
that would be amazing, mate. I would love to do that. Yeah. Get us in there.
I think a live recording would be great. I think we could definitely crank that. But yeah, so freaking watch this space. Absolutely. So anyways, there you go. Is there everything we wanted to say about Pixel Expo, guys? I
just wanted to quickly shout out Nerds of the West, because I had a very good chin wag to Reese and Co down there, and they had a massive big booth, and that's the first time I've met those guys in the flesh. But we've been raiding each other's channel for years now.
Yeah, Reese I've never met Cody, but Reese is such a legend. Love Reese.
Yeah, it was really cool to go and have a chat, and it was like recognize each other straight away, and it's just like walk up, big hug. That's the beauty of video games, I tell you.
That is the beauty of video games for sure. Yeah. Big fan of those relationships you build over the interwebs. It's just wholesome. It's good. But yeah. So, anyways, those listening at home, we'll see you there next year. Now, let's freaking jump in, because it's, not only was there was also something else that came out that was, I need to get it off my chest. We need to get there ASAP, Grizz, because I need to talk about it.
Do it, mate. Let's do it.
It starts with a B, ends in a GATE3. There's a hint.
Oh, do you want to start off the? Okay, yeah, start with that. All right, yeah.
I think we'll just jump straight into it, honestly. But before we do, just want to just a few house rules. Okay, I just want to say, firstly, thank you for listening to this podcast. It's wonderful to have you here. You guys bloody rock. But if you could do us a favor, tell someone about us, or if you're listening at home and you use a podcasting platform, maybe just go and give us a cheeky little 5-star rating. Perhaps that would be great. Mm-hmm. We'd really appreciate that. So, help us grow organically, and together, you guys and us can forge relationships with one another in such a way that perhaps we'll get some beer sponsors or something cool. Okay, that would be the ideal sort of thing for this stream. I think
such a good
really.
idea, Kat.
Yeah,
beer
imagine if we're
sponsors.
drinking beers whilst doing that.
Are we back to smashing tinnies? I thought this was off the table.
Wait, when did we take that off the table? I've never taken.
All right, I'll contact my people.
The very first
What?
episode we had, I drank like 5 beers in that first episode, and I haven't done that since. But
Well, I don't know if we'll be doing 5, but
Yeah,
one or
easy,
2
mate.
might be nice. But yeah, so but yeah, anyways, so otherwise, if you'd like to listen live, you can do so by going to twitch.tv/Oceanic Gaming Radio, and yeah, follow us there. We go live on every Monday night at 7 p.m. AWST. Okay, that's Australian Western Standard Time. Outside of that, just want to say thank you to our wonderful Patreons. They are the people that every month $5 comes out of their account and goes straight to us, and we appreciate it big time. Now, those people are the following legends: Sukai, Moosey, Caging Runt, Sergeant Paul, Lee, GD, J Libs, Brendan, Dan, Fantastic, and Stropsy. Cheers,
Hey.
legends. You guys will bloody rock.
just really quickly, on mentioning Stropsy, Stropsy commented on our Discord saying, "Kat, I hope your back doesn't get too heavy from carrying Grizz in the the PixelCon." And I can say I did not answer a single question. So
yeah, it was definitely the cap show for sure.
I was the bloke that was running the whiteboard around to the live audience. That was pretty much me.
Yeah, it was good though. You know, everyone had their role to play, Grizz, and mine was not leaving the seat, which was great.
It's very true.
Yeah. Excuse me. Now, all right, let's freaking jump straight into it, Grizz. I'm just going to tell you, my gaming has been going exceptionally well. I think I'm currently playing one of the greatest RPGs that have been ever created.
Yes, I would
easily
absolutely agree with
top
you there.
3,
Kat. Top
if
3,
not the best.
You know what's before you go into your big summation, I just want to quickly say that the rule set 5e has is so fucking good for something like this.
Yeah,
because
I think it just applies really well, doesn't it?
It does. It applies really well to this adaptation of a video game.
Yeah. So we're obviously talking about Baldur's Gate 3. That came out on Friday for Australians and I think Thursday for people on the other side of the world. But yeah, wow. I mean, Larian Studios had one of the biggest concurrent Steam number of players for the year. I think it was just over 300,000 or something, which is huge.
Actually spiked at 800,000. Capo,
was it 800,000?
Yeah, I put it in the quick fire, but we may as well say it now. 800,000 was the spike. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's out of control big.
So that's engulfed Dota 2 Cat. That's engulfed CS:GO. So and one of the developers commented on Twitter, mate, and said that he'd prepped them that it would be should expect 100K would be the top that they'd be looking at on Steam. So
kind of reminds me of when Dwarf Fortress came out, and they were like, "Oh, we reckon we'll sell like 10 copies," and they sold like 1 billion. But the re-release of it, sorry. But yeah, underselling's always good, especially when you've got an incredibly sought after RPG or something like this. But let's get into it, Grizz. Obviously, for those that haven't heard of Baldur's Gate 3 is a sequel, I guess, to Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. They were old, kind of D&D style CRPGs in ye olden days. I can't remember the exact years that those ones came out, but they're olden time games. So you can play them on. Oh, man, I'm trying to remember. I mean, they've been re-released and whatnot, but they were developed by Beamdog, I believe, and now Larian was approached by Wizards of the Coast after Divinity 2 Original Sin's success as a CRPG, and they were asked whether they would like to partake in developing another Baldur's Gate in the series, and they agreed to do so. And yeah, basically this has been released now.
This is what we got.
To quickly go back. Yep. Baldur's Gate 1 was released in 1996, and Baldur's Gate 2 looks like it came out in 2000, I believe.
There's some DLCs for one of them, Cap. I swear I played Oh no, I might be thinking of Neverwinter Nights, which was different, wasn't it?
There was DLC for both the games. Now, the interesting thing about Baldur's Gate 1 is I believe it was Baldur's Gate 1 deal. It wasn't really, it was more of an expansion, really. Now, it was called like something Siege of Dragonspear, which came out in 2016. So that was quite a big amount of time between the 1996 release and the 2016 release. 20 years, in fact. So interesting, but it was pretty well received. Bit of what do you call it? Bit of DLC, I guess, for that game. But it was more geared as an expansion. Which I mean, I guess it's kind of the same thing right these days. But yeah. So, anyways. Very, very well-loved series, like very well-known, and obviously also has the D&D flavor because it uses those kind of rule sets and the world-building aspects as well. But Baldur's Gate 3 has released in the same, vein. But I would say it probably goes a little bit harder into, I guess, the tactical kind of combat.
It's really hard to apply the D&D rule set, Cap, because D&D as a whole is so broad. You can do basically whatever you want within a pretty broad rule set. So trying to apply that to a game is actually extremely challenging because when you're trying to take your turn, you've got all these different decisions that you're trying to make.
Options,
and all the classes play so completely differently. So
I mean,
you can
theoretically,
just see
you have unlimited options.
You do, yeah.
Technically. And obviously there's not unlimited options in this game, but they do a good job of giving you an incredibly wide breadth of, I just guess imaginative gameplay and ability to take your character in the ways that you want, utilizing, all the classic spells and classes from the D&D 5e rule set. And they do such a bloody good job of that.
Oh, they're just implemented so beautifully into this game, Cap. Like, it's interesting because I think everyone is going to be experiencing the game differently. And that's kind of what I've seen. I've tried to stay pretty spoiler free, but I have tuned into a couple of streams and people are rarely playing the game differently between their different takes, depending on who, what class they've gotten, kind of what direction they're going. And I think that's just credit to Larry, and they've just created such a diverse game around a broad set of rules, and it's worked. Yeah, very cool.
So let's just quickly touch on the overall structure of the game. It is a classic kind of CRPG. It gives me huge Neverwinter Nights vibes if anyone's kind of familiar with that kind of game. And that too was kind of a D&D CRPG. But the whole idea is, your character's moving through this, D&D-esque world in an RPG fashion. You choose your character, your class. You've got all kinds of different classes and different races that you can choose from, all within that D&D world building kind of set. And then, the game kind of takes place in Faerun, and some shit's gone down. You are on this Nautiloid ship, which is controlled by mind flayers, which are kind of, they're just like octopus face people. And you've been captured by them and you got to get off it. That's how you begin the game. The combat is kind of top-down tactical. It's party-based and you're controlling multiple characters, unless you're playing multiplayer where you control your own character. But yeah, you're controlling these characters and the combat takes place as per you would do in a classic D&D style game. Behind the scenes there's roles and things happening against armor classes and whatever else, so it stays true to its D&D roots for a lot of it.
It does. And I just want to say that the way they've so there is a combat log down the right hand side that you can see at any time, because I was curious. I play obviously D&D, usually a weekly game with my brothers, and the class I picked, I just wanted to see whether the dice were rolling and can you see some of the hidden rolls and stuff. And they're all there if you're a D&D nerd and want to go check things out. But Cap, I found that the skill checks on things and kind of how they work, if you're trying to persuade someone, it'll actually bring up a screen and show you your dice roll against what you need to roll. But I found that was a huge dopamine hit to me. It's so cool to see, when you see you got all your different modifiers and things that will add extra numbers to your dice roll, and then seeing that roll above is just like a real, big dopamine hit. They've just made it look so pretty and integrated that so well into the game.
Yeah, it's kind of it's interesting because it doesn't feel like you're playing D&D, but then you see the dice rolls, and you're right, you kind of get that bit of a dopamine thing going on when you're trying to, convince an ogre to battle for you, or you're trying to, intimidate someone to do something that they maybe don't really want to do. And I think that's probably one thing that's worth really talking about is I don't think I've ever had so much fun just reading dialogue and listening to dialogue in a game ever, because every single conversation I have with an NPC is impactful and interesting about the wider story and interpersonal kind of things that are happening within the world. Like, you learn so much about how people feel about certain races of characters, and Faerun is incredibly racist, is what you find out a lot of the time. Is everyone kind of just hates one another,
they do.
and you find out who hates who and why and what's been happening recently. And if you're a player of the previous games, or even D&D lore, you kind of come across some interesting tidbits about some of the things that are happening within the game, specifically why there's so many tieflings in the first major area, which is really rad. So yeah, just the way that they build upon what's happening in the game, and when you're chatting to people, what they're telling you about is, I just find it so engrossing. And I think, honestly, the voice acting is unbelievable.
It's nuts. I'm you know me, mate. I am not a lore guy, and I am finding that I'm not skipping any of the dialogue, and I'm just really enjoying it. And like you say, all the voice lines are voice acted. Every line is voice acted in this. So it is just clearly very impressive. And Cap, and I think some of the for lack of a better word, but like racism within this game, D&D, is in the rule set as well. There's certain races that don't like tieflings, etc. So it's so great how true they have been to the genre as a whole. It's just, very impressive, mate. But one thing I wanted to touch on, Cap, which comes back to the character creation, mate, was I was pleasantly surprised with the adult themes of the game. The gore and the blood in the first few scenes when you're on that Mind Flayer ship was like pretty fucking brutal, man. Like, I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but also the nudity and other things as well. Like, you literally get to design your penis shape in the character creation.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah,
so
big schlong.
It's just, exactly. I just found that really refreshing as well. And I'm curious, Cap, how long did you spend in character creation?
I actually spent a fair while, because I was kind of trying to figure out how I wanted to go about building my character and what I wanted to do. Maybe this is a good chance to talk about what we got. But I reckon, oh man, I easily spent an hour in there probably, just because the other thing about what I really liked about the character creator was all the pre-made characters had a little bit of a storyline quip that they spoke through, and you could click the play button and it would talk about, they talk about what their motives are, what their instincts are, what they're trying to achieve at the moment, and who they are basically. And again, voice acted brilliantly, and all kind of within the kind of structure of the character builder. It's very well done, and I really enjoyed that. So it took me ages to figure out what I was actually going to do. So
did you pick a custom, or did you pick one of the pre-built characters?
I actually ended up picking a pre-built.
Oh, did you? Okay, I didn't do that. No, but that's cool. I like that, and I wonder if that will change how NPCs react to you and things. You kind of
absolutely does.
Does it?
Time.
Yeah, right. That's cool, man.
Well, I mean, so I won't give any spoilers, obviously. I think we'll probably try and keep the stuff that we talk about to maybe up until where you go to the Grove, and maybe obfuscate a few bits and pieces, but just talk about the first main sequence where we're on the ship, and maybe the first major battle just before the Grove. Again, don't want to sort of give too many spoils this early into its release, but now where was I going with this? Can't remember. Anyways,
talking about you're talking about your lore of your character and how it kind of played through the game. I think. Sorry, that's what you were talking about.
So I chose a pre-build character, and it is called the Dark Urge. Now, the
Oh,
Dark
yeah, we talked
Urge-
about this before, didn't we?
Yeah. So the Dark Urge is this character that has just insane bloodlust, and it creeps into a lot of dialogue almost all the time. Like you're dealing with this bloodlust and these internal like bad thoughts, and you're like, fucking, I'm trying to. You can either give into them or try and resist them, or just try to, kind of think about what's going on. But basically, the cool thing about this pre-built character is you don't have to stick with. It's the only one like this. You don't have to stick with the appearance that's given for you. So you can actually be whatever race and appearance you want to be.
Oh, right. So you just have that as a backstory, but you can kind of pick your race and stuff.
Yeah, so it gives you that.
Just before you go on, I just want to quickly say that, your backstory and your race and even your class will give you unique dialogue options when you're responding to people sometimes. So it may say,
and they'll interact with you differently too.
And they'll interact with you differently. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
like
just so fucking
I'm a
cool.
drow, which is a dark elf. And in the lore of D&D and whatever else, drow are hated because they tend to only really come to the surface to perform raids and fuck people up. So it's pretty rare that you find a nice drow. So a lot of people aren't super stoked with seeing me.
People are not happy with
the time. Yeah. So and it's led to some really interesting interactions because drow are also well known for taking deep gnomes as slaves. And so I met a deep gnome and he was like, "Oh, well, I guess this is the point where you make me a slave." And I was like, nah, but
so
I understand why you might say that. So just little things like that. It's just the attention to detail and the application of the wider kind of D&D lore is just insane on so many levels.
It is. They have just spent so much time perfecting that. And I do wonder, Cap, I actually felt this a little bit in Divinity Original Sin 2. I felt like the first act was really well done, but then I felt like the storytelling and stuff got a little bit lax once you worked your way into the game.
I
wonder whether
that.
I don't feel like it's going to happen here, but just something to keep in mind. But Cap, I may as well tell you what I ended up doing, mate. But I ended up picking a high elf rogue, and I have metagamed the shit out of this from D&D knowledge.
Love it.
Because I'm playing on tactician difficulty at the moment. So I wanted to...
Are you really?
I am. Yes, I am.
Oh, you maniac. I'm playing on balance, and I've gotten into a couple of fights, and I was like, thank fuck I'm not on tactician.
Yeah, I have ripped one fight, and I'm going to come back here later. But I'm only into the Grove, mate, so who knows? It may change, but gotten through it all so far, and it feels okay. I will say, though, and this is 100%, but the amount of D&D I've been playing with my brothers, I can actually really feel that knowledge helping out, especially as I'm playing my rogue. I'm level 2 now, so I can backstab someone, I can disengage, and I can run away. And there's dash actions, and just trying to manage your classes that you've got. And I haven't built the ideal party yet, but I know exactly what I want for my party. So I've kind of trying to take that. I'm going to metagame the fuck out of this and give it my best crack on tactician, but
I don't think I've made my ideal party yet either. I don't think I mentioned what I ended up going, but I ended up going a drow warlock.
Yes. Which warlock subclass, Cat?
I went the old one, or the deep old one, or whatever they call it, which is kind of like a Cthulhu-esque kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
And the cool thing is I get so the reason I love warlocks is because they use their charisma modifier for spellcasting, which means you're also really fucking because obviously you're going to put points into charisma, because that's what you do, right? But then also because you put points into charisma, you're also really good at talking to people. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. Like you've got a really strong mage-like character who has Eldritch blast that just does blast the shit out of things,
and that's a cantrip as well for a warlock.
It's a cantrip, and it's
so you can use it whenever the fuck you want.
Yeah. But you can also apply special, what do you call it?
Can empower it or something,
feats or whatever.
Yeah.
That you can empower the actual bolt itself to push people back or do whatever else, or add extra damage or make them have to do a modifier or a saving throw. It's just really well done. But yeah, I think going back to the whole idea, so there's 10 potential, I think, characters that you can have in your immediate party. of up to 4 players or characters, sorry. And they are interchangeable as you find them out in the world. They'll go to your camp and you can pull them into your party at any moment.
Right. So I haven't got that far yet, Cap.
Yeah.
I haven't. Yeah, I've discovered a couple, but I haven't found my camp yet. So I'm getting there. But yeah,
can I ask who
very
you
cool.
found?
I found a guy, fancy looking bloke who tried to slit my throat. Yeah, Asterion. Yeah, and I've got a fighter in my party who is
Gith Yankee,
and then the other shadow chick that has
Shadowheart,
that.
Who, may
Shadowheart.
I say, I am definitely romancing her. That is happening.
Yeah,
for sure.
she's not my type, but her voice actor has a very nice voice.
Yeah,
very nice. Yeah, love it.
Yeah,
but Cap, I'm also finding my rogue to be quite helpful so far. So I've picked a bunch of locks, and one of the classes I've got has got the assistance thing that you get an extra D4 to your ability checks, whatever that is.
Yeah, what's that called? It's called
guidance.
Guidance, yeah.
And you apply it to your lock picking, and so it's been so good. Even the high skill ones,
you can just apply guidance to anything you do.
It's strong.
It's amazing.
God, it's very strong.
An extra 1 to 4 bonus modifier is ridiculous, and clutch a lot of the time. I've been trying not to save scum, and
I haven't been doing that either. Yeah. And there's actually an option.
A couple of things I have though, but
there's actually options in there, mate, which I have applied. I can't remember what my settings were, but you can limit the amount of quick saving and saving you can do in a time period. So at least that kind of locks you in. Because I remember playing, it might have even been the Baldur'S Gate games, but you can literally, as a rogue, go and try to pickpocket someone. If you fail, just reload it, go do it again. And just keep doing that until you stole all their shit. And it's you could totally do that here as well. But
for sure. Yeah. I've been trying not to do that. There's only been one time I've actually done it. And I was thinking in my mind, well, I don't really want to spend a shit ton of gold, but I do really want to do this one thing. So I'm just going to save scum it and enjoy it. So I'm trying to be fairly flexible, but also
I think I may know actually, there's going to be moments like that. I have made a conscious decision to not load those moments. The only moments I'm going to load are the moments where I rip my party, obviously, and I have to. But there's been one particular thing which I'll tell you because I don't want to spoil it for anyone that I didn't get the check for, and I'm left absolutely fucking wondering what would have happened if I have got the check.
Is that right?
It makes me think it was a significant piece of the story that I've missed.
Okay, interesting. Maybe I have to tell you afterwards. But
I'll tell you after. But Cap, how did it? I was very impressed. I have an aging PC. I've got a 2080. I've got 16 gigs of RAM. It's not particularly good, but runs at a stable 144, and it looks and feels beautiful. It feels really nice so far. Cutscenes are great.
It's running. It's running really well on my PC. I mean, I've got a bit of a newer PC. I built mine in October last year. 3080, 32 gigs of RAM, etc. And it's running pretty schmick.
I bet it would be. Very nice.
I did download it for Steam Deck, and it was touted as Steam Deck verified, which implies that it's ready for Steam Deck. It's kind of virtually a native experience. But it runs like shit on Steam Deck.
Does it? Okay.
Garbage. Do not
unplayable.
Buy Steam Deck. Look, I wouldn't say unplayable, but not enjoyable. That's for sure. It's graphically just not up to scratch. I was kind of running anywhere between 20 to 40 FPS, and it was dipping a lot. I went into the Grove, and it was just like. And just in terms of what you have to do to achieve a reasonable frame rate in that game for your graphic settings, just not worth it. You'd have to not have anti-aliasing on, and without anti-aliasing, a lot of the in-game objects just look like really
great.
Shithouse. So do not recommend it. But it's a bit of a shame because I don't know how you can put a Steam Deck verified on a game that's going to run at max. Yeah, that seems funny. FPS,
you think there would be some kind of quality check for those Steam Deck verified games, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, presumably, the game does run on the Steam Deck, just not very well. But it would be nice to have a bit better control over that. I think Valve is kind of in the business of just being like, yeah, no, it runs on there. And it's like, yeah, well, it runs at 20 FPS and it looks like utter garbage. Yeah, but it runs. So I hope that in the future they maybe do some optimizations for the Steam Deck, because this game would just be so good. I've actually been playing it via Steam remote play in bed. On my Steam Deck.
Onto the Steam Deck, yeah, okay. And that runs a bit better?
Yeah. Oh, way better, because it's basically just streaming off my PC, which is rendering it at, max ultra graphics.
That kind of works. You don't need quick reaction speeds. It's all turn-based. So
exactly. And I mean, to be honest, the Steam Remote Play runs really well on a home local network, as long as your PC or whatever the streaming device is connected directly to your router. You shouldn't have any issues. And then I try and stick to 5 gigahertz if you can for your wireless device. But yeah, it's running mint in there when I just want to kind of run around and do some dialogue. I don't tend not to do combat on it because there's a lot of just shit going on. And I kind of want to click on things, but for the most part,
what's happening.
Yeah, if I've got a bunch of dialogue options I want to do, really good. So
cool. Very good.
It's just a superb game so far. I think still want to let it kind of simmer and just enjoy it for a bit more. But I've done a fair whack of the first major area after the intro kind of tutorial zone, I guess. And even then, I wouldn't really call it a tutorial zone because they kind of don't really hold your hand too much, do they, Grizz?
They don't. They do not. Absolutely not.
Which I'm a big
I found
fan
my way. I didn't get myself into the town, but I found my way into somewhere that, it was actually through lock picking, and I got in there and I got my ass kicked, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to go in here yet.
I think I know exactly where you went. But actually, that's a really good point about the game in this first major area. Is highly recommend if you're playing at home, just do as much as you possibly can in that area, because there's a few people that you meet that will be important that I imagine you could absolutely completely miss.
Completely skip them, yeah, right.
So worth kind of doing as much as you can.
I'd be interested to just one other thing we haven't touched on yet, Cap, is the co-op nature. So you can play. Is it 4, 5?
You can have 4 players.
4 players.
Same as the party size.
Co-op. Yeah. I will be very keen to give that a go with my brothers at some point, and potentially yourself, mate, later down the track. Second playthrough.
I'd love to do another playthrough with a bunch of mates and just like let it be a complete shit fest. And just choose like some, I'd love to play a bard, for example, or just choose some fun classes and just kind of go wild with it. But yeah, I think if you're umming and ahhing about Baldur's Gate, I think the only thing that might put people off as to whether it would be for you or not is if you're not a big fan of tactical top-down kind of party-based combat, the game's probably not going to be for you for the most part, which is kind of upsetting because the game is, like I said, it's phenomenal in every aspect. I haven't had any bugs or anything yet either, Grizz, nothing major. I've had a couple of things where I did have one moment where my UI disappeared and I couldn't do anything in a battle, but I just reloaded my quick save and I was straight there. So
yeah, I've had no problems yet. It's been pretty smooth sailing, mate.
Yeah,
loving it.
So yeah, but yeah, so banger freaking game. Go and check it out if you're interested in the D&D, greater world. You want to expand your D&D horizons. This is how you do it. Go and play Baldur's Gate 3. Go and throw Larry and your money because it's totally worth.
Absolutely, actually. So I refunded Remnant 2 and bought Baldur's Gate
3. You are a maniac, but I'm not surprised.
Well, look, I might rebuy it. There's a couple of reasons. It didn't run well on my PC. It ran like I couldn't even get a stable 80 frames because my PC is too old. So if I was going to buy it again, I'd probably get it on PlayStation 5. But also, I just want to play Baldur's Gate, mate. Nothing else right now. So
I'm kind of the same. I was like, oh man, got to do fucking podcasts. I want to be playing Baldur's Gate. So it's just that good. I just wish I was in there all the time. I mean, it's going to be a real drag being at work this week.
Aries is saying here, Cap, that co-op's been fun, letting people take turns at the same time. If their initiatives are close, makes for fun combos. That is cool.
That's kind of rad. I didn't know that it would work like that. There's also a lot of really interesting interactions with your settings. Like, for example, if you are trying to romance certain characters in a co-op thing, you can make your sexy time completely private. From your other co-op people.
I'd let you see mine, Cap. All right? It's all right.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Yeah, you show me yours, I'll show you mine. But yeah, just really, really rad. Now, I don't know. I think that's pretty much all I've really got to say about the game thus far. But you're definitely going to be hearing more about, you know, what is effectively probably going to be my game of the year at this stage.
This may be the new Elden Ring of the podcast, I think, Capo.
Yeah, Elden Ring 2, Baldur's Gate 3. That's what they call this game.
Oh, that might be a good episode title. Keep that one.
Elden Ring 2, Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that.
Elden Ring 2 by Larian Studios. There you
go. Yeah, so well done, Larian. I'm looking forward to continuing to play through it. I think that's the other thing, Grizz, is like I just can't see my fun diminishing at any point.
Yeah.
Like I keep finding things that I'm running into and, you know, new story hooks, and I'm just like, when is this feeling going to end?
Also, dude, the loot seems super rewarding as well.
Yeah.
Because the classes are so unique in the roles they have, the loot that you find seems quite meaningful. And I mean, the 5E magic items themselves are actually, like, they're good, but they're a little bit boring. And I'm glad that Larian have built upon the 5E items because there's just some really cool stuff there.
Yeah,
crazy.
No, absolutely.
They've done well.
I think it's one thing that I've noticed is when you do complete a quest and you get like a cool item, it's like, oh sweet, that's going to synergize really well with this character, or oh, I can do that now, which makes my dash really good. Okay, cool, that can go to them because I need them to get into the fight. Probably one thing actually to have a chat about quickly is one thing I've been grappling with the combat is I'm finding it hard to get melee characters into range a lot of the time before they get fucked up.
My rogue is really struggling with that, but this is something that I'd actually had to read about. And I don't know how you've gone with this, but they almost encourage you to set up a fight similar to Divinity and use your items and stuff and almost bait them in to where you've got the control rather than just kind of blunder in with what you see as like your lineup to fight.
I think there's probably one thing that probably my only real major dislike for the game thus far is the combat often feels like you have it's very little option to get your melee characters into the fray without taking significant damage.
So, dude, I reckon the rogues, for example, Cap, have the disengage and hide action. So I can go in, stab someone, use my bonus action to disengage, and then use all my movement to get behind my fighter again.
Yeah,
and I know that you could multi-class your warlock into another class that gives him movement abilities. Or dude, the multi-classing is going to be huge as well. If you try to figure out what else you want to pick up.
I don't even need to, man, because like the range on his Eldritch Blast is out of control. It's silly. It should be illegal. Yeah, right. Warlock shouldn't be allowed to happen. Honestly, they should be turned off. It's so good.
I think that is like
some of the things. Sorry, you guys.
It's one of the strongest cantrips in the game. I'm pretty sure the old.
Well, Eldritch Blast. But then on top of it, some of my level 2 spells are just stupid. Like. I've got one called Telrash's Laughing Madness or something like that, and it just turns people instantly prone and they have to laugh on the ground for 10 rounds.
So, dude,
so good.
I fucking used that in our real D&D game, the bard Darcy Maud, the bard that goes around with the boys, and I used it on an ogre, and he was down laughing because he had such low intelligence, wisdom, couldn't pass the save. And they just hit him to death as he's on the floor laughing because he couldn't break out of the spell. It's so strong,
Stop
dude.
Tickling me with your giant toothpicks. Love that. That's great.
That's classic.
Okay. Well, yeah, keep an eye out for Baldur's Gate in this podcast because I think next week we'll be chatting about it, and then it's probably going to be the same the week after that and after that because also I think it's quite a big game. So I think I'm probably going to be playing this for a while. So,
and that's an hour of the podcast gone. Holy shit! Talking about Baldur's Gate. There you go. Did deserve it though.
Oh, dude, absolutely. Yeah, definitely worth a yarn. But yeah, anyways, let's jump into. I mean, that's how gaming has been going really well. So there you freaking go. Now let's jump into the quest log here and let's unravel the week that was, my friend Grizzly Gaming 86. Now, the first bad boy quest on the quest log. Rumors suggest that Nintendo is poised to release the next gen console next year. Now, this was posted on VGC Video Game Chronicles, where they are suggesting that internal, whistleblowers, what do you call these people? Sources suggested that they had dev kits for these what they're kind of coining the Switch 2, and then they kind of went on to discuss some of the things that may or may not be in there, which I kind of found hilarious. Like if you had a dev kit, surely you'd be able to confirm what the fuck this
exactly
thing
what it is. Yeah. 100%.
But yeah, so they kind of went on talking about this. They may or may not have an OLED screen. It might be LCD to save money. We don't know yet, and it's like, well, don't you have it with you? Like, can't you just?
I wonder if it's just under NDA, so they just have to be vague over the details.
Man, if you're telling people that you've got it, I'm assuming you wouldn't be able to tell anyone anything. But even went to the next stage of sort of talk. These sources I put in inverted commas were saying that this Nintendo might be looking at backwards compatibility with the other Switch, with the early Switch console, the Switch, which again,
Switch.
Surely you're like if you would know that if you had a dev kit. So I don't know. I don't know if these rumors are kind of one to be believed at this stage. I think there's definitely something in the works. We've seen earlier stories in the last month or so that suggest that there's patents and all kinds of bits and pieces that are being kind of secured for Nintendo. And we even had the current president of Nintendo say that, talk about what the next steps for Nintendo are, and which included insinuating that they want to marry the Nintendo accounts between the two consoles, which would be a big step for Nintendo.
And that kind of goes, I think that almost surely confirms some backwards compatibility. If they're doing that, you would think, because if you've got a library of games that maybe are on your existing Nintendo account, that you'd like to think that they're accessible on the Switch too. But
yeah. But I mean, this is the thing about Nintendo is they're very good at making you rebuy shit. And though I do think, see, this is the thing, right? Is they tried to capitalize on it with the Wii U, where the Wii was so crazy popular that they went, okay, let's make another Wii, call it the Wii U, and it didn't quite hit as hard, and it didn't quite work as well.
It's very true. Yeah.
No, but I mean, there was also the fact that kind of split the two bases up as well again. So I think if they want to release another Switch-like console, because again, these rumors and other rumors have suggested that there will be some kind of dockable, handheld aspect to the next generation of whatever Nintendo's doing, they're going to have to probably play ball a little bit in that area. So I think it's probably one thing why. So I think it's intelligent and maybe a reason as to why they've started to split their retro games onto the Nintendo Switch Online rather than letting people buy them outright, because that way they can make you subscribe over time.
Yeah,
and probably absolutely. A good reason as when people start getting the Switch 2 in their hands, okay,
continue that subscription.
Exactly. So that's probably a good way to do it. But it'll be interesting to see how they go about backwards compatibility, if at all. I hope they do, because I think it's going to really shoot themselves in the foot if they don't. But I mean, personally, I just want a fucking Switch that has some reasonable specs.
Just on that, Cap, that article goes on to say that the current Switch comes with 32 gig of internal memory, while current gen PlayStation, Xbox games have over 100 gigs. So, it is clearly behind the other consoles that we have.
Oh,
So
but we know that even just in terms of the graphical output of the Switch. I mean, I don't know if anyone in chat or here has played Witcher 3 on the Switch, but my brother has a copy of that, and it runs like freaking shit, garbage.
Definitely heard us whinge about it here, Cap. But there are some dates bantered around in that article as well, Cap. They say that they think it'll be coming prior to April 2024, so mid next year for a Switch 2. Yeah, not far off. And they also announced or confirmed that the console, like always, will support physical games via a cartridge slot. So not moving away from that classic cartridge, which seems to be a bit of a...
I think Nintendo will stick to physical releases for as long as absolutely possible because they can control the way that those cartridges, those games are stored on that cartridge, which it has been a lot of the reason as to why it's been difficult to emulate certain things. So it, just in terms of piracy deterrence and, keeping their IP secure, I think I can't see Nintendo kind of, going against that grain anytime soon. But yeah, I think the big one's going to be backwards compatibility and whether they do it or not. So we'll freaking see, Grizz.
We will see, mate. Hey, just really quickly. So Tokyo-based industry consultant who, he's the bloke that told VGC about this, Dr. Serkan Toto. Just this little line here I thought was interesting, mate, that he said that the original Switch released over 3 years after the PS4 and Xbox One, which proved to be an effective move for Nintendo. A second half 2024 release for the Switch 2 would be nearly 4 years after PS5 and Xbox Series X. So similar kind of life cycle for those consoles.
Didn't we see that, which is hilarious, because I swear we saw that the specs for the Switch 2 was going to be that of a PS4 or Xbox One, which is just like, I don't know, just the.
It is a handheld though, so I guess that's the thing. Well, it's a handheld / docked.
You're not wrong, and even looking at the Steam Deck and just again experiencing Baldur's Gate 3 on that and just realizing, okay, this, we're still not quite there yet with handhelds, and when the fuck are we going to get there? Who knows? But it's. I think that, again, Nintendo have always had the upper hand with that because they are delivering their IP on a device that they manage themselves, so they're able to control both the software and the hardware. Whereas, Larian, they're obviously releasing on PC and then they're trying to release on freaking PlayStation, and they're having issues.
The optimization that would need to go into a game like that would you've got to account for every idiot who's running a 2080 Super with 8 gig of RAM and a shitty CPU and everything else.
I still stand by my my prediction, Grizz, of the Nintendo Switch 2 being called the Swatch, and it's just a Nintendo Switch on a wristband.
Yeah,
I'm telling you,
makes sense for Pokemon, doesn't it?
Actually, good point. Yeah. See, you guys think it would be shit, but I actually reckon it could be pretty cool.
Swipe up, destroy your Pokeball on the watch as you're walking through the city.
Yeah, post a freaking fucking, I don't know, emoji in chat if you think the Swatch would be a good idea. Anyways, moving along. Now, Grizz, Nintendo are also making a shitload of money. Are you aware of how much money they're making?
Well, they're pretty fucking big, Capo. They're in the league of their own, mate. Why? Tell me.
Yeah. Well, look,
how many dollars?
They released their first quarter fiscal report recently in the last week or so, and their revenue was 461.34 billion yen, which is about 3.2 billion USD, which is a lot of money. Now, that is I believe a 50 on 50%, so a 50% up net profit from last year, and that's year on year. So they just keep freaking doing it, basically.
Just keep making the bucks, mate.
Nintendo are just, when you think about what Nintendo is actually achieving financially, it's actually kind of crazy. But they noted that the Super Mario Brothers movie did really well, and the movie itself generated more than $1 billion at box office.
The movie was fantastic, mate. Absolutely loved it.
I still haven't seen it.
You need to watch it, Cap. You need to watch it, mate. It's good. It's worth it.
Excuse me, I've just coughed my guts up. Still haven't seen it. I need to go and check it out. But yeah, they also kind of noted that Tears of the Kingdom has been their fastest selling game of all time. So that's also helped a lot. And just, Mario and Zelda combined have just kind of pushed them into huge kind of, software pushing capabilities. So, because I mean, also, when you have a movie like Mario, that's obviously nostalgic for a lot of people, and probably would have had a lot of people that went, oh man, I really should go and buy a Switch and play some Mario. I haven't played that in Donkey's Yonkies. And so I would have loved to have seen stats on the surge of people coming back to play games from something like that. But yeah, very, very interesting with that as well. Now, in other similar Nintendo news, Grizz, now this is actually fucking crazy, Grizzly Gaming.
What happened?
Sony PlayStation filed a DMCA takedown claim for a game that was released on the Nintendo Switch eStore. Now, the game was called The Last Hope: Dead Zone Survival.
The Last Hope. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, does that sound like any other zombie games that you might have heard before?
It's pretty similar to The Last of Us, I dare say, Capo.
It is indeed. The Last Hope was touted as a father-daughter zombie shooter, fighting in a post-apocalyptic land. Now, it kind of, they released a trailer.
By the way, Kat.
The trailer for it is honestly horrible.
Dude.
It looks like it was made in about 2 seconds in Gary's mod.
It looks so much like The Last of Us, though. The chick's hair is literally exactly the same, but it's like
the costume is basically the same as well. They've literally ripped it off one for one for them. I mean, look, the game looks nothing like it, but the characters, literally Joel and Ellie one for one. Apart from Joel looks a bit more kind of like, I don't know, he looks like he's just come off the soccer pitch or something. But yeah, that's basically what they did. They've completely ripped this off. It looks like they've made it in a weekend on Unreal Engine and just kind of dumped it on the store. But
my God, look at that, dude! Oh my God,
it's really bad, really bad.
It just looks terrible. So what? Hang on, is this down now? Is this still on the store or is it gone?
It's not currently still in the store anymore. It got removed. If you try and go to its its page, it just comes up with a 404. This has been this is no longer available due to a copyright claim by Sony.
So even Nintendo, Cap, even Nintendo are playing the game, it seems.
Well, it's funny, dude, because and this is one thing I wanted to kind of quickly chat about is the fact that Nintendo goes so fucking hard on people, pirating their games and doing all that kind of shit, right? To the point where they even sent Valve a email kind of generally being passive aggressive and threatening them if they didn't pull down the Dolphin emulator off of their storefront, which was being used to emulate, I think, Wii games.
Yeah.
Anyways, so they're pretty fucked for that. But then, their curation of their e-store is fucking garbage. The amount of shovelware bullshit that is on their storefront is abysmal, and
it's quite easy to get something on the Switch storefront, isn't it, Cap? Like, it's not hard.
Clearly, look at this fucking piece of shit. It is so bad. It is. It's hard to believe that someone is actually. Well, clearly, no one is actually curating or mediating the things being put on this storefront, right? So, which I just think is so hypocritical with the way that Sony goes about pursuing its interests with its own IPs when it comes to emulation and stuff. So, I just thought that was hilarious. But so there you go.
There you go.
Anyways, that's all of your Nintendo news for the week, Grizz. So,
Great. Thank you very much. Keeping me in the loop. I have heard there is a Pokemon Direct tonight, apparently, so that we can talk about that next week.
Next week,
we have heard that.
Tomorrow night.
What's going on?
Tomorrow night. Okay.
Have you got any predictions?
For Pokemon, I'm hoping for a Legends announcement.
Oh, yes.
A bunch of people were saying maybe a Gen 5 Unova, I think it was a Gen 5 Legends. That could be pretty cool. That was my least favorite.
What's Unova?
Black and White was my least favorite generation.
Cool.
But I reckon maybe a Legends Arceus can change my mind.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what Do you reckon they'll go down the line of calling it after another god Pokemon or whatever?
That was a generation for Megas, I believe.
Oh, right, okay. Because
So
I
maybe.
thought Arceus was like the creator Pokemon
Yeah.
or some shit.
I
Yeah,
believe so. That's the like
Mm.
the theory,
Interesting.
the history. I don't know what you call
Okay.
Pokemon lore.
The Pokemon lore. Yeah, the
Pokemon
in-depth
lore.
I'm a firm believer in the Pokemon lore that every Pokédex entry was written by an actual child. So like it's all just like from a child's perspective is what those descriptions are.
That's great. I love that. That's brilliant. Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see what happens tomorrow night. I mean, I would love another Legends game. I really liked Arceus. I think if I was going to choose between, if I had to remove a game out of Scarlet and Violet and Arceus forever, and no one ever got to play either of the games that I chose to remove, and I had to keep one, I'd be keeping Arceus, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
I loved it.
Ooh, they're very close for me. They're first and second, very close.
A lot of it for me is just the fact that Scarlet and Violet ran like utter shit, and it was just crap. It was just so bad.
Didn't run well. Yeah.
Ran like a freaking wet sock in the.
Man, I honestly think I'm getting
sun.
sick, like on the podcast right now.
Yeah,
I just
you got
have a
the con
constant
cough.
something happening in my
cough.
throat.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
Pav was saying before podcast that he's got the con cough. So
no, my cough is
too much yelling.
Too much shouting. But
okay.
But it could be both. It could be. I don't know. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah,
Chris has con flu. Run away. Now, boys, on other news, I'm going to give you some backstory. We actually found some more information about the guy that found the One Ring, which was the magic card, which was a one of a kind from the recent Lord of the Rings set.
Yeah.
So the guy's name was Brooke Tafton from Toronto, and it's a fucking cool story, Cap, because the guy was just a normal collector. He had pre-ordered 2 boxes of the collector's edition from his local store, went down, picked them up on the day of release, and pulled the One Ring.
Dude, that's so fucked.
It's fucking nuts. Now, it only really came out this week. He posted on his TikTok because basically you don't want to go showing you've got this card because, you know, someone might come and try to steal it from you, whatever else. So it kind of came out and it shows the original video of him holding the One Ring in his hand and his hands shaking. He's got it in this thing. But essentially what he did is he contacted a legit service to help him find legit offers for this card. They went out searching for those. And guess who's bought it? Post Malone has bought the One Ring. Posty. What a fucking legend.
You know what? I'm all about this. I reckon I actually really like Post Malone as just a human being. I just think he's a good dude. He, not that I listen to his music or anything, but I like that he's a gamer. I don't know if you've watched that episode on YouTube of him getting a custom PC built, but it is a banger episode, and he's just sitting there like, man, this is sick. Like he's
so
really
wholesome, eh?
Yeah,
he is very real nice bloke. So he paid $4 million Aussie dollars or 2.6 million USD for this card. But he's always been
mil AUD, I believe, or something like that.
4.5 million AUD, something like that. But he's always been a lover of Magic cards, Cap. In fact, he has paid the most. So before the One Ring, he had paid the most money for a Black Lotus ever as well. So he owns a Black Lotus.
Do you know how much he paid?
He paid $800,000 for a legit Black Lotus prior to that.
Shit, dude.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
He's like a serious Magic card collector, old Posty. So
yeah, I'd love to see his Magic card room. I reckon it'd be out of control.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
very interesting. So that's cool. Learn a bit more about that, Cap.
And
any thoughts on that, mate?
Well, not really. Ultimately, I mean, it's just I think part of the story was the person who pulled the card. Brooke, they were saying that like their dream was to sell it to Post Malone, and that kind of eventuated in the end as well.
Yeah, how
which
crazy
is kind of
that,
cool.
Eh? Yeah,
because I mean, Posty's been very vocal about the fact that he is such a big MTG fan, and even has featured in some MTG kind of advertising
stuff,
and marketing. Yeah, so very rad. But I mean, God, 4.5 million is crazy. That's super life changing for Brooks.
Oh.
So congratulations to them. And whew, man, that's. Do you reckon you could retire on 4.5 mil? Probably not. I mean, you could probably. I reckon you put a mil aside to buy a reasonable house.
I reckon
Put
if
a
you
mil
invested
aside,
it right, you'd be able to, for sure.
It'd be all about the investment, wouldn't it?
Mm.
Yeah. You could probably just chuck it all into Bitcoin, Grizz. You know?
Put it on Bitcoin, mate. Yeah. Put it on the
That'll-
Doge.
Nothing will
Buy a bunch of
happen
Doge.
with that. You definitely get a return. Don't worry about it.
I could buy like a heap of Patreon subscriptions to OGR. It's a pretty good investment, I reckon, as well.
Yeah, okay. I like that. Yeah, I mean, talk about return and value for money. I mean, not financial return, but you definitely get moral return. You know,
that's right. Yeah. Shout out in every episode. Fucking look out.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Now, Cap, in other news, mate, some Final Fantasy related news. So, Final Fantasy 14 devs have been trying to get the pixel remastered games into that MMO for quite a while. This is referring to the Final Fantasies 1 to 6, the classics.
The bangers.
The bangers.
You played most of these, you were saying.
I did play some of these. I can't remember which ones exactly. I definitely played number 6.
I definitely
the
played
one that
number
was on
6 as well.
Which one was one that was on SNES, Cap? Which one was that?
6 was on SNES, yeah.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
I think the
that's
rest
one
were
I
kind of
played.
like smattered between like the original NES and whatever else.
So the issue is, Cap, is that the games use what is called middleware. Middleware for games is a piece of software that is integrated into the game engine to handle some specialized aspect of it, such as physics, graphics, or networking. So because it's running on middleware, the issue they're having that if you want to implement that in Final Fantasy 14, you'd have to build another system that can play back the middleware inside the game. So think of like a fucking bit of development inside the game. I'm not a dev, Cap. Do you know what that means? But essentially they got to like do heaps of shit to get it to work.
Yeah, it's kind of like a translation layer almost. So imagine like a way to kind of describe it would be like, okay, if you're talking to me in Italian, I might need someone in the middle between you and me to translate the Italian to me, so I understand what you're saying. And that's basically what would be happening. But like trying to get that working in an MMO that would be a performant development system would be quite difficult, I'd imagine. And having to bundle that into the game, like, it would be full on. So
now Yoshi P's been pretty funny about this, Cap, because he's gone out and said, joked that if there is a super programmer out there who thinks they are up to the mammoth task, Square Enix would happily accept their job application. So
dude, that is so fucking
a bit
cool.
of tongue in cheek, but like, also that's pretty cool.
It's interesting because I imagine it wouldn't be that hard. It's more I'm probably kind of generalizing a little bit, but it would just be trying to get it performing well within the game where it's not utter garbage. But yeah, I don't know. I think that would be really cool to be able to do that in Final Fantasy Online, even if like, I don't know, if you could like
those
play
games
it with your friends in there.
Seriously, fucking long, Cap. Those old Final Fantasy games, dude. Can you imagine like playing Final Fantasy, but then spending like 30 hours in a game within a game playing through an RPG?
Do you know what would be really cool is like, because in Final Fantasy Online you can have a house and stuff. So imagine if you could like get like an arcade machine and play it in front of your mates whilst they're in your house and you can see it.
We're talking about the metaverse right now, aren't we, Cap?
Yeah, we've gone Final Fantasy metaverse basically.
We've gone Final Fantasy metaverse, exactly where we've gone.
Rad.
You know what? I'm going to add another layer here. What happens if the item that you get for killing the end boss in Final Fantasy 6 you get in Final Fantasy 14?
That would be cool. So that would be really cool. And that's where they probably have, being MMO developers and stuff, they probably have aspirations to do things like that. Maybe that's where some of the pain points is coming from in terms of like getting it to work properly within the MMO. How do you get that information in and out? So dude, that would be really cool. Like getting certain weapons and well, even if you could get like a I don't know, like a transmog set or something, that'd be wicked.
That would be cool.
That.
Yeah, reward people for doing it. I wonder how much dev time they're actually spending on this. By the way, I wonder if it's
probably
something
not an awful lot. Not with Dawn Trail on around the corner. I imagine they're probably focusing on getting that cranking.
Look, but yeah. I also thought, Kat, that'd be worth us sharing if we have any. Well, actually, this is your thought, but it's a very fucking good idea. Any other notable examples of games within games? So I think one of the most interesting ones that I've come across is Doom 1 and 2 are available within Doom Eternal. And they're actually pretty fucking hard to come by. So to play Doom 2, you need to go inside the Doom Fortress of Doom, which is one of the end levels. There's a computer. You walk up to it and you put a code in, and it unlocks the full playthrough of Doom 2 that you can play. You can also play Doom 1. You have to collect a bunch of floppy disks that are hidden over the world, then go to the same computer, and then you can access Doom 1 through the same thing in Doom Eternal. So that is pretty dang cool. I like that.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. I think some major ones for me are, Gwent, obviously. Game within a game. Gwent is like such a classic. You know what I mean? I loved playing Gwent in Witcher 3. I think that was such a brilliantly put together card game.
How good was the Final Fantasy VIII card game, dude? Did you play that? It was very similar to Gwent.
I never played Final Fantasy VIII.
Oh, man.
So I don't know what the card game was like, but 9 had a really good card. Was it 9 or 10? No, 9. 9 had a really good card game in it as well. Trying to remember what other ones I really liked. I actually really liked Red Dead Redemption 1's little mini games. They had a game called Liar's Dice that was I can't remember exactly how it works, but it was kind of like, I think it was kind of like Yahtzee. So, it's a simple dice game. You'd try and guess what the dice was going to be, up or lower or something like that. And that was really fun. But even like Crash Bandicoot was playable within in Uncharted 4.
Yeah, that. Dude, so Wolfenstein had an interesting one in Wolfenstein New Order, which I think was their 2016 release. But once you've reached the Resistance headquarters, there's like a bed that you can go sleep in there. And you wake up in one of the old Wolfensteins, and you can play through a complete map from one of the original games before, getting back into the New Order campaign. So
yeah, that's so sick. Love that. Well, I mean, probably the most famous one is probably Geometry Wars, which was in Project Gotham Racing. I don't know if you know about that one, but it's kind of like an Asteroids-esque one. But it basically, people loved that one, that mini game so much that it became its own game within the Xbox Live Arcade. And then, became, Geometry Wars is probably better known than Project Gotham Racing.
Yeah. I know Geometry Wars. I don't know the other one. So there you go, man. It's true.
Exactly. But actually, and another really good one, Grizz, more recently was, I thought about this the other night. Horizon Forbidden West had a little mini game called Machine Strike. And that's awesome. It's like a little board game where it's like a tile-based X by X board game, and you get a certain number of machine monsters on the board, and they have a health and attack number, and they can do certain moves and stuff on the board. But there's also different terrain types on the board, which affects how the different things work. It's kind of like, it's almost like a in-depth chess. It's really fun to play. I really enjoyed that one. But yeah, plenty of freaking good games.
Your bangers, mate. Absolutely.
Mate. Big time.
Love a good game within a game.
Oh man, so do I, mate. Big time. But yeah, anyways, that's the quest log. Great job, Grizz. Freaking 20 experience points to you, mate. And
huge.
Here's a bag of holding, which you
can I apply those in Baldur'S Gate 3 Cap, or what? Is that?
No, you cannot. We don't have the correct translation layer. If you know any good programmers, let me know, and I'll see what I can do.
Right.
But yeah, there you go. Now, we didn't do a poll this week. We were both just incredibly busy, and your poll was coming to Pixel Expo and watching us live. So if you didn't do that, then you missed out on the poll, basically.
Arish, yep, he saw us live.
Arish got the poll live in the flesh. So there you go. But we do have a freaking rapid fire, baby. Okay, don't you worry.
Brought to you by DJ Francesco.
It's in the freaking game, baby. DJ Francesco once again coming in here, coming in hot, and just supporting this podcast with everything he's got. Love old DJ Francesco.
What a bloody legend!
What a legend.
Did DJ Frankie get a? Did he get a gig in the after parties, Pav, this year for Pixel Expo?
No. There's a different after party that hosts the Pixel after parties. My friends over at Hoshi. Oh my god, my voice.
Yeah.
My friends over at Hoshi do the Pixel Late event.
Pixel Late, right? There you go. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very cool.
So DJ Francesco, unfortunately didn't make it, but he did make it to OGR.
Sorry. DJ Frankie does set up the games at the after party for Hoshi. So there, but not DJing.
Right.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, wicked.
Anyway, more information for the folks at home.
No, mate, for sure. Now, first one, cheeky. The composer Yuka Kitamura is leaving From Software to become a freelance composer. Now, people lost their fucking mind when they saw this, Chris, because they're like, that's it. From Software's never going to write a good tune ever again. Now,
can I just freelance this person back at a higher rate or what?
Exactly. I think that's literally what's probably going to happen. It just means that Yuka can go and work on other IPs and bits and pieces. So I think they're probably going to enjoy that a bit more. So, yeah.
Very cool. Cat, Remnant 2 has been quite successful. Nearly 100K concurrent players on Steam. Nothing like what we talked about for Baldur's Gate 3, but quite good.
Still, I think those are really respectable numbers.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. 100K. No. Declined. Yeah. I mean, I think I'll potentially get back on it, but I might get it on my PS5, I think, for sure.
What the fuck are you doing, Pav?
Nothing.
Pav is waving erratically. So, yeah. Anyways, I think for a small indie studio that's not Larian, that's been, working on, CRPGs. I mean, did you know Larian's been around for like ages? I think Larian was like late 90s or something.
Been around for a long time, have they?
Like,
what else did they do before Divinity? Well, I actually played Divinity 1, Cat, back in the day, co-op with Curdy over Hamachi, of all things, and was fucking excellent, mate. Fantastic game.
Okay. Well, their first game was Divine Divinity, and then Beyond Divinity, and then Divinity 2 Ego Draconis, and then So they've done a lot of Divinity games, and then they did Divinity Original Sin in 2014, and then Divinity Original Sin 2 was 2017, and obviously we've had Baldur's Gate 3 this year. They've also done some educational games as well. So
right, for kids.
But yeah, they were founded in 1996, and they didn't release their first game till 2002. So they've been at it for a while. So, and arguably their first cracker hit was probably Original Sin 1, but Original Sin 2, but Original Sin 1 did quite well as well.
Yeah, Original Sin 1 was fantastic. Anyway,
oh, for sure. But yeah, I think 100K concurrent players for Remnant 2, like that's solid. And I've actually got a few people still playing it in my Steam list, despite, one thing I noticed the other day is I hovered over the little green icon of a person next to the Baldur's Gate 3 in my Steam list, and the amount of people that were playing Baldur's Gate was like, when you hover over it, you see all the different people who are playing it. It went off the screen. I couldn't actually. I had every single person in my friends list playing it pretty much.
It is a banger game. Banger game.
Yeah. So sorry, Remnant 2, but we completely usurped your topic to talk about Baldur's Gate 3.
I did refund Remnant 2 to buy Baldur's Gate 3, so apologies about that.
Rest in peace.
Also, Remnant get wrecked.
2. Yeah, get wrecked. Now, talking about get wrecked, and Kamikaze Cracker's not going to enjoy hearing about this, but Ratchet and Clank, a Rift Apart has peaked at less than 9,000 concurrent players on Steam after its PC release, the third worst Sony PC result yet.
Ratchet and Clank. Look,
Ratchet.
Kazi was probably 9 point.
Holy shit, dude. That's so funny. Yeah. Well,
Look-
apparently it's true. Steam were not happy with it. But you know what? Apparently it's released really well. It's no bugs, not like
Runs
the Last of
nice?
Us PC release.
Okay.
Yeah, it just runs
Yeah.
fine. It's good.
Look-
Yeah, it's a shame.
I'm going to say it here, Cap. I'm going to say it here, mate. But it was no God of War for me. Kazi's going to hate me for this. I didn't finish it. But it was no God of War and it was no Last of Us. So I can see
Yeah.
why it probably didn't gain
Yeah.
the
It's
hype of
hard.
those.
You can't release banger after banger. Sometimes you're gonna have some unbangers. So
You don't finish anything.
Kazi's shooting some fucking fire in the chat. But yeah, anyway, so for comparison, Grizz, the Uncharted games peaked at 11K and Miles Morales 13K. Sackboy had about 700 players and Returnal had about 7K. So
Wow. Okay.
yeah, Sackboy was the worst with 700 players and Returnal 7K. So unfortunately, Returnal didn't go too well either.
Fuck, man. It was my game of the year that year.
I know.
Absolute banger.
I know. You clearly don't know what you're talking about, according to Steve.
No, fucking no one likes games I like. Cap, mind-blowing stat. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate accounts for 70 to 80% of all subscription holders. Now, I've got a fucking bone to pick with Xbox right now because my brother was saying that they're pretty good at baiting the upgrade to Ultimate.
Yeah, of course they are.
Noodle Cookie was saying that they would give you something at the base and then they'll take it away from you and put it onto Ultimate. Sneaky
Like what?
little bloody devils. I don't know,
thought
man.
Ultimate
I've got
was
no
just
examples.
Wait, that makes no sense. Do you know what I think you might be talking about? I think you might be talking about the what is now Xbox basic Game Pass or whatever. It used to be Xbox Gold Live, and you used to get a little subsect of games, and then they go into Xbox Game Pass. Whereas Ultimate pretty much just gives you, as far as I'm aware, Ultimate just gives you what do you call it? Cloud streaming.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So what have I got? We've got my wires crossed then. Hey, wait. Oh, so what do you? Oh, so it doesn't. So you don't get additional games for Ultimate then. It's just the cloud streaming. Is that right?
As far as I'm aware, yeah. So I'm just double checking this because now I
why are people paying for cloud streaming, Cap? Is it something that's big now? Is it?
I did it a little bit here and there. So I mean, it depends really. But sorry, it's called Core now. Thanks, Kazi. So there's 3 different levels now. So Core has it basically will give you you can play. It's kind of like PlayStation Plus. It'll give you access to online gaming in the Xbox Live ecosystem. So for the actual Xbox consoles, whereas the Xbox, so the Game Pass gives you a shitload of games. The Core gave you a few games, and then I think it's extra $2 to get the Game Pass, which gives you a shitload of extra games. And then I think Ultimate just gives you, it gives you
cloud gaming.
Yeah.
And okay, so hang on, I've got it here. Game Pass, blah blah blah. Game Pass, Gold. Okay, dude, I remember when we first went through this. It was so fucking confusing. It feels like it's still quite confusing. But anyway, Cap, why are people getting Ultimate? Why are 70 to 80% of these people buying Ultimate, mate? What's the hidden stats behind this?
I don't know, Grizz. I really don't know. It makes no sense to me. But I found that crazy when I saw that because I mean Xbox Cloud Gaming is
okay. All right, Cap. The top comment from that Reddit thread says because it's $12.99 for Game Pass Ultimate, which gets you both Xbox Live and Game Pass, compared to $19.99 if you pay for them separately. So people are doing the old boondlay, the bundle.
The old switcheroo. I like that. See, there you go. It's people thinking hard about how to save money, and that's how they're doing it. See? Intelligent
bastards.
It says you fucking refunded fucking Remnant too.
True.
Yeah, classic. All right, there you go. Now, Grizz, Sony has released a new PS5 beta with a huge amount of new PlayStation 5 settings and options. For example, you can turn off that freaking beep that it plays when you turn the console on. Beep.
What? Really?
Beep. Yep, you can turn that beep off. Which is pretty rad. I know a lot of people have their PlayStation 5 in their bedrooms and stuff, and often the beep will wake people up because it's quite an obnoxious beep. It's so yeah, you'll be able to turn that off. They've got a bunch of accessibility things, controller assist, so you can add a second controller to assist you do certain things, kind of like
that would be handy with kids, mate, for sure.
Oh, absolutely. I was thinking the exact same thing.
It's fucking frustrating trying to see them do things sometimes, Cap. And I know that makes them better gamers to figure out how to do it, but it's like, just come on,
mate, come on, just fast forward 10 years, will you? So that's one thing they've got. What else have they got in here, Grizz? Support for Dolby Atmos enabled audio devices. I don't know what the fuck that is. They've also got a bunch of social features. So party UI update where you can invite players to closed parties without automatically adding them to the group. So I believe how it would work would you'd invite people and then they'd just be in the group. But now it'll kind of like offer them to join rather than just adding them. It's kind of good for both ways.
Absolutely.
Also got some other stuff so you can join friends really easy. React to messages with emojis now as well. So that's pretty cool. And just a bunch of other shit. You want to go and check out what it is, go to blog.playstation.com. You'll find it there, I'm sure. I'm positive.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Very cool. Cap, Sea of Stars, the Pixel Chrono Trigger like, has gone gold. Ready for its release on the 29th. What does gone gold mean? Does that mean that they've sold a certain amount in the pre-orders?
No, it just basically means normally gone gold would mean that they begin pressing the code base to CDs.
Right.
So gone gold means their release code base is ready. So they're ready to release it effectively.
Ready to punch it out, mate. Hell yeah.
So
it's good. Keep an eye on that one.
Oh man, that game I'm so excited for. That I think that's going to really hit a few nostalgia vibes for me. And I played the demo in the PlayStation. Sorry, not the PlayStation. Maybe it was the PlayStation. I definitely played a demo recently. They released a demo probably a few months back, and God, it's going to be really good. I'm really looking forward to that. That kind of Super Mario RPG like combat where you're kind of pressing buttons to improve the attack and the timing aspects of it, like Chrono Trigger had, and just those. I also like the idea of the encounters in the world being kind of not always super obvious, but they're not just kind of like walking through grass and you found a Pokemon kind of thing.
You can see the enemies there.
Yeah.
For me, Cap, it is the throwback to the art style and the music, which captured so much nostalgia for my childhood. Just looks like they've done a really good job, almost similar to the way that that Pinocchio game has captured Bloodborne. This has done the same thing for me for Chrono Trigger, for sure.
Yeah, super rad. Big fan. There you go. Now, Grizz, Xbox is now selling parts for you to enable you to fix your own controllers rather than buying new ones. So, they're literally selling chassis and PCB boards and freaking.
How good is that though?
And stuff. Dude,
is it worth doing it though, Cap? Like, I'm looking at the price of some of this stuff. I guess it probably depends what part you're trying to repair.
Depends on what it is, right? Like, if you just need to replace your buttons, that's going to cost you $21.99 USD. Which what's a controller going to be, like $60? So
if it's just the case, which I'd imagine a lot of people ain't with anger problems, just smashing the case, $20 top for the top panel of the case.
When it comes to well, actually, I tell you what, because the good thing is this is targeting the Xbox Elite wireless controllers, which are quite expensive, right? So if you've got an issue with, say your wireless controller board or whatever it is, maybe it would be more lucrative just for you to replace that yourself and, rather than getting a brand new one for however many dollars, because those ones are, the elite controllers are quite expensive. So I think that's where a lot of this has come from. But it's also kind of just a nice idea, and like I think just cool that you can go and kind of fix your own controller.
Taking a little note out of Steam Deck, mate. Hey, jumping back up one cap, but Sea of Stars will be the first game to release simultaneously on Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Plus. Why have we not seen another game do this yet? And why is it Sea of Stars?
Do you know what? I'm not entirely sure. Cool? It's got to be, well, I mean, it's cool because like they've managed to somehow fucking negotiate that because normally PlayStation and Xbox, I'd imagine, would be like, nope, it has to be entirely exclusive on our platform. You can't be on Game Pass. You can't be on whatever else. So somehow they've managed to get on both, and I don't know how they've managed to do that, but they fucking did. And that is some big cojones shit.
Big cojones. Now, it is coming to Switch, honey, but it is not coming to the Nintendo subscription service as a free game. But if you have either of the Xbox Game Pass or PlayStation Plus,
you get it for free.
You get it for free. Sea of Stars. Check it out.
Freebie. So there you go.
Freebie.
Sorry I missed that one, mate. But there you go.
Oh, good.
Now, Grizz, Callisto Protocol developer, is looking to lay off a lot of staff. I can't remember exactly. I think it was about 30 odd, which is a fair chunk of their development force after the mediocre performance of Callisto Protocol.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sucks. But I mean, this is just the reality of games development. If your game ain't that good, it doesn't meet the scratches. It's just not going to.
Now, I actually like this next story, Kat. I like this next story. Sounds good. Assassin's Creed Mirage is 5 times shorter than Valhalla. Thank fuck. Get rid of some of that RPG bloat and focus on the game, I reckon. So
absolutely. It was kind of funny reading the title for that though, and be like,
it's like a negative thing, isn't it?
Yeah, this game is 5 times bigger than Skyrim. No, we're reading. You're hearing it correct. Assassin's Creed Mirage will be 5 times shorter, which I'm really looking forward to. A more, condensed story and arc, I guess, for the Assassin's Creed games, because I haven't had fun playing Assassin's Creed since probably Assassin's Creed Black Flag, I'd say.
Yeah, I haven't played any since the first one, mate. But nothing. But I would say that Black Flag looked pretty interesting to me. I love the water graphics, and it looks pretty good, mate. Pretty good.
Yeah, bangers. Now, before the release of Baldur's Gate 3, Grizz, Larian released a personal leave form that you could use to request time off, which I think is great.
Did you read the form itself, Kat?
I didn't read all of it. Give me a rundown.
I don't want to read it all out to you because it's a lot, but it is very well written. So it says motivation for special leave. How about I just read the first paragraph? Hereby, I said, the undesigned hereby request a special dispensation from my regular duties and obligations in observance of the momentous occasion of the release of Baldur's Gate 3, in brackets Baldur's Day. As fate would have it, I am compelled to answer a calling to gather my party and embark on an epic adventure. Now, I'm not going to read through the whole letter, but it is just perfectly written. And you write your company, your department, your supervisor, you sign it at the end, and it says, please submit a duly completed and executed form to your supervisor or HR department for review and approval. So amazing. Very cool.
Big fan of that.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, that's brilliant. Really, really well done, Larian. And I mean, I wonder if anyone actually used that.
I reckon if you had a boss that is, it turns out for sure. Surely some people did.
I mean, in all honesty, like if you're taking personal leave, you can take personal leave for whatever the fuck you like, as long as it's like, not, whatever else. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's, it's good. So yeah. Now we already spoke about the last one, Grizz, but Baldur's Gate has smashed 800,000 concurrent players on Steam, which has smashed the record for Larian. I think it probably puts it up in there in like overall all time, which is kind of fucking crazy. I'm just
it was above some of the
at the moment.
the big players there. It was above Dota and CS:GO there for a short period too. So that really spells out how popular that game release has been for them.
Top 10 of all time peak. Goose Goose Duck, which I have literally never fucking heard of this game in my fucking life.
Oh, I have. I remember that release, but I didn't think it was that massive. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that had 702,000 concurrents. Baldur's Gate 3 is in 9th position with 814. Hogwarts Legacy, 879,000. New World had 913,000. Currently has 11,000 concurrents. Elden Ring had 953,000 concurrents.
There you go. Wow.
Cyberpunk at number 5, 1,054,000. Dota 2's all-time highest was 1.295 million, which was then beaten by Lost Ark at number 3 with 1.325 million. Number 2 was Counter-Strike Global Offensive at 1.818 million. And can you guess what the highest of all time was, Chris?
I reckon it'd be, hang on. From Steam?
Yep.
League of Legends isn't from Steam, is it?
No.
Counter-Strike Go. Did you say CS:GO?
Yeah,
CS:GO.
Yeah, that was the last one I just said.
Oh, fuck. Don't know, mate. What is it? Tell me.
PUBG.
PUBG. What a fucking shit game to be number one.
That had 3.257 million, almost double Counter-Strike Go at number 2. That's crazy. Concurrence. Yeah. That's fucking crazy.
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, that was it was a game that defined a genre, though, Cap, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Like that game really did take the world by storm. I had people who I had mates who didn't even play video games who were like, I've just bought a fucking computer to play PUBG.
Yeah.
I remember.
Battle Royales,
was crazy.
Mate.
Yeah.
And they just didn't stick with the times. They didn't develop the game quick enough to keep it relevant.
No,
into where it needed to.
They didn't have to, mate, because they made so much money.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
But it didn't become a Fortnite or anything like that, but it definitely paved the way for, Fortnite wouldn't be here without PUBG, really.
That's true, mate. Yeah. So probably same with Call of Duty Modern Warfare, mate, in the current form.
Yeah, not wrong. So, anyways, there you freaking go. I think that's everything, Chris. That's the lot. That's the entire podcast.
We dragged that out into a long fire, which was cool.
Yeah. No, exactly right. Well, we had a bit of time, so I thought, we can massage this a little bit.
Yarn it out.
Yeah, there you freaking go. But yeah, just to wrap this little episode up, I just want to say thank you to everyone watching live on twitch.tv. Legends such as Ho and Honey, Kamikaze Cracker, Olfant, Airy J, 12 Orcs.
Yeah, so many legends in here tonight.
Mrs. Kez, welcome on in. Thank you for hanging out here. If you want to watch live next week, you can do so Monday night, 7 p.m. AWST, twitch.tv/Oceanic Gaming Radio. Yep,
Sukai AU. Yep.
Yeah, legends. You can join all those legends. Otherwise, you can listen to the podcast in your own time on your favorite podcasting platform. Just go and search up Oceanic Gaming Radio, subscribe to the podcast RSS feed, whatever, and give us a review if you wouldn't mind, or tell someone about us. Equally useful. Would appreciate it. Other than that, if you want to catch us on Twitter, you can go and follow us there on x.com/Oceanic Gaming Radio. Or is it OGR Show? I think it might be an OGR Show on there. Either way, go to ogr.show and all of our links are there. You can find our Twitter, so you can vote in our polls each week. Go and follow us there. You can find a link to our Discord. You can come talk a bit of cronza, a bit of smack to us in the flesh. You want to talk about video games in your spare time? Let's do it there. Okay. And anything else that you might possibly want, it's probably going to be on that website. So go and have a look. But yeah, anyways, that's everything from us. We'll see you guys next week. Don't forget that there's a freaking what do you call it? A freaking Pokemon thing happening tomorrow. So get excited now. Pav, you got something you want to say?
Just one quick thank you to Tim, president of Pixel. Jumped in for a little bit, checked it out, and chucked us a follow. So thank you, Tim.
Hey, thanks, Tim.
On
We'll
your
see you next
Tim, you freaking legend, if you're still there. Also, and Jim, thanks for putting on the wonderful, the wonderful event at Pixel for us to have participated. You're a freaking legend, mate. But yeah, there you go.
All right.
All right. Oh,
All right,
okay.
let's do it.
Bye.
Bye. That's your job, mate.
Hey. Couple of legends in the chat, isn't there? Couple of bloody legends. Olfen, hope you're going well, mate. Haven't spoken to you for ages.
Hey, honey.
Honey, how are you?
Going? Good to
How's
see
that
you.
baby cooking? Cooking good?
Have you got a freaking baby on the way? What
Honey
the
has a
frick?
baby on the way. Kat.
What the heck? Congratulations,
Honey
honey.
has a baby on the way.
Congrats. Oh my god. You're gonna be Mama Honey. That's so
Mama Honey.
exciting.
Mhm.
Holy shit. Holy shit. That's
Very
exciting.
cool.
Congrats to you and
Oh shit. Whoops.
Mr. Hohen.
Oh, that was good fun, boys. That was a good episode.
It's killing me. Mate, wait till they get on the outside.
Yeah. Fuck.
No, I won't diminish the I won't diminish what pregnancy is like. It's rough. I've seen it. I haven't felt it, but I've
I guess we probably can't really talk, Cap, can we?
Yeah. What the fuck is going on with my background?
What do you mean? I thought are you not?
Dude,
are you not,
that's why everyone was losing it in the chat because Pav was fucking with your shit.
Are you not streaming from Ted's room? No.
I wouldn't be because he'd be awake at fucking 9 o'clock, which would not be the play. But yeah, love it. Now, what are we doing for? We're going to do Elden Ring 2, Baldur's Gate 3.
Elden Ring 2 by Larian Studios or something. Don't know.
I like Elden Ring 2, Baldur's Gate 3. That's pretty fucking funny.
Yeah, do it. Do it.
I think that
what episode is this, by the way?
67, I think.
67.
Yeah.
Huge.
We're nearly on the nice episode, fellas.
I wrote it in there for you, Pav, so you can copy paste it.
Legend. Oh my god, my voice.
So
far.
Oh, man.
Copy.
Now who we wrote?
I have a good friend who was actually Twitch pal over the weekend. I think they're still streaming. Let me quickly double check. But Local Boy was the did a song in the closing ceremony, which was
dude, sick, yeah,
incredible, and all around top bloke. Actually, hung out with them at the after party on Saturday night as well.
Fucking Rorks was in here and he's streaming. What a mad dog!
Mad dog. Wait, while they was streaming?
Yeah, while they was streaming. Love that shit. It's dedicated.
But
12 orcs.
12 orcs.
Yep. He's one of those fucking weebs that does that, you know?
Yep. Local Boy. I reckon.
Yeah, let's go and check out Local Boy.
They are still like, they are playing some Valorant, but they're also vibing.
Yeah.
Do it.
Let's finish up and we'll see everyone
on
the other side. See you next week. Bye.
Enjoy Baldur's Gate 3, you chatters, all right? All right. Or else.
I nearly typed the link in his bloody chat. That was that's better.
I might stream it tomorrow. I reckon that would be fun. Maybe I'll stream Baldur's Gate 3 tomorrow. Sneak up on some nerds.
Yeah.
Seconds.
Yeah, we're back. 10 seconds.
Kazi, I just wanted to say, you said I don't finish any games. That's a lie. I finished Aladdin like fucking 15 times back to back, all right? So get out of here.
Okay.
Bye.
True.